everyone, this is Rebecca and today I'm going to show you how I make Tom Yam fried Bihun. So Bihun is a kind of vermicelli made from rice. This is what it looks like. So the first thing we're going to do for this is open up this bag. It's about 400 grams. It's made completely from rice. It's a kind of noodle made in Thailand but very popular in Malaysia as well. You know, in Chinese cuisine, Thai cuisine, Malaysian cuisine, everything. So before I do anything else, I'm just going to pull the noodles out. They're kind of brittle. There will be some, like, you know, powdery bits, but the large majority of it will be in this large kind of like hay stack. We're going to put it in the water. We're going to try and make sure that all of it is soaking in room temperature water. This is one of my favorite recipes. I mean, Bihun has a lovely, it's like al dente kind of texture. It's a little bit springy and chewy. I just soak them in cold water and then into the pot they go when I'm frying up the Bihun. I'm going to be cooking them with chicken fillets because it's a simple, straightforward ingredient. A lot of people would put shrimp and calamari and stuff like that. I prefer to go simple. You don't need a lot of sophisticated ingredients, like hard to find specialty ingredients. You need simple things like chicken. You do need the noodles. I don't think you could replace them with other kinds of noodles. It needs to be rice, vermicelli. It needs to be thin. The secret to this really is Tom Yam Paste. This is the paste that I use. It's like an instant, it goes in, you know, you put it in soups, you fry rice with it, you fry noodles. It's so good. I'm sure you can find Tom Yam Paste in almost everywhere. Like, it used to be sold in Tesco in Ireland where I lived. I have spring onion in the fridge, all cut up and washed, but if you don't have spring onion, just take a normal onion, put it in like a glass with a little bit of water and let the onion shoots grow. The onion greens, you cut them, you wash, cut them up, and they're like spring onions, and we use them in Asian cuisine as a garnish, and they also have a lot of flavor. So that's in the fridge. And I have chilies. You can use any kind of chili, whatever you can get your hands on, preferably something spicy if you like. Bird's eye chili would be the most authentic one. Okay, then we have coriander here. Everybody knows coriander. We have bell pepper. I'm going to be using a carrot, keeping things simple, and cherry tomatoes. They're really nice. So this is my version. It may not be like the authentic version, but I love it like this. Okay, I have here shimeji mushrooms. They're like a Japanese variety. I think you can use oyster mushrooms. Try to pick like a neutral, not a very strong smelling mushroom, not truffles or anything like that. Button mushrooms work fine if you want to get a portobello and you want to slice it up. Whatever kind of mushroom, if you don't use mushroom, that's fine too. You can go crazy with like the vegetables and proteins in this recipe, but the base of it is just vermicelli, Tom Yam Paste, onion, garlic, salt, pepper. And if you take all these ingredients and you cut them out really small, you can just make Tom Yam fried rice. It's almost the same thing really, just with rice, cooked rice, instead of vermicelli. Now the rule with all the vegetables is that you want them to be long and thin like the noodles so that you can eat them together with the noodles easily. So you see here the capsicum is being sliced into very thin strips, and you'll see here that the onions are just being sliced and they will become strips as well. That makes it very easy to pick up vegetables when you're eating noodles. But the garlic, we just want it as fine as possible, minced or pressed with a garlic press, because you don't want big chunks of garlic. For the carrots, the easiest thing to do for me was to spiralize them, and even if the spiralizer is not good, it still comes out pretty good. And I'm roughly chopping the coriander and discarding the roots and halving the cherry tomatoes. Now I'm heating coconut oil in my skillet. You can use any kind of oil, like vegetable oil. I just like the flavor of coconut oil, and I am letting it smoke before adding the onions, sauteing the onions until they're caramelized, then adding my roughly minced garlic. And I don't want to overcook or burn that because garlic burns badly. I'm adding my chicken fillets, which have been cut into roughly like 1-inch cube shapes, letting that cook, adding all my vegetables, and we have all the ingredients prepped before cooking, so when we stand there and fry, everything goes in all at once. I'm adding the Tom Yam Paste and stirring that in, letting everything cook. And you want the meat to be fully cooked before you add the noodles. And I am being very rough with my measuring. I just want to make sure there's enough of everything, enough of the paste and enough of the noodles. It's just a very rough estimate. That's kind of how we do stir fry cooking. We don't really measure with tablespoons and cups and stuff like that. So I'm tossing in the noodles and they will cook in the steam of the dish. You don't need to cook your noodles in any hot water and anything like that. Just keep frying them and incorporating them with the tom yum and season them with salt, pepper, and a little bit of soy sauce if you like. Now I'm making omelets, and very thin omelets. You can water down the egg just slightly, or just beat it until it's nice and spreads easily in the pan. And I'm making these omelets to make strips, which will be added to the noodles. So as you can see, I'm taking the omelet off and I'm rolling up all my omelets and using a pair of scissors to cut them into thin strips. And the strips are going to be like garnish on top, and my grandma would cut them very finely, but I'm cutting them about 1 centimeter, half an inch wide. And the dog really likes them. They're not seasoned, so he can eat them. And here is the final dish. We have the Tom Yam Bihun served with strips of omelette and fresh spring onions, just a little bit sprinkled on each plate as you serve up the dish. Oh, this is a comfort food. I grew up with fried bihun made by my grandma in a slightly different style. Hers would be called Siam, which is Thai noodles. And wow. Anyway, if you like this video, do like, subscribe, stay tuned for more, and comment below if you have any questions or if you want to try this recipe yourself. So, bye!